Hello and welcome. My name is Nicholas St. John, and I'm going to go over what we call the neighborhood info. This is a program that I put together. It pulls data from the state voter rolls. I've incorporated importing 10 years of voter history, and for county positions like trustees, board of county commissioners, and for school board trustees, I actually went out and got data, and so we can pull that in. So when it comes up, I'll show you where that shows up in the report. This has been done for the entire state. So there is a list of all 17 counties. Of course, Carson City isn't considered a county, but it's the equivalent. And so we have every single county in here. Now I do have history for every county, but we don't have school board and county commissioners for every county. Now, if someone wanted to send that to me from another county, I'd be glad to implement that as well. But anyway, first thing you'll need to do is make sure you select the county that you're in, and we're here in Washoe. So I'm going to put in my information, his first name, last name, date of birth, and precinct number. And in this case, in precincts in Washoe County, for some reason they're in the state database with 2 extra zeros on them. You don't need to add those. Just put in XXXX, just 4 of those digits like what we're used to. So, okay, so once you have those 4 pieces of information, that's all we need to do to be able to verify that you are in fact in the voter rolls. Now, you've got a couple decisions to make. One of them is, what do you want to show? You can pick Republicans, you can pick Independents, you can pick Democrats. You can pick Republicans and Independents. And I don't remember if I have it so you can do all 3 or not at this point, but you can try that. If it doesn't work, let me know. And in the meantime, I'll probably do some testing to make sure that you can. The reason that's legitimate is you may want to go to your street and see if there's houses that are not registered to vote. And so you could go to those houses, find out if they're a Republican, and you could get them signed up to vote. So I'm just going to do Republicans, and I'm not going to do targeted only. What targeted only means is if you check this box, it will only display the those who have voted in the last 3 elections, both the primary and the general. Now, in some neighborhoods, there can be nobody, and so you could end up with nobody on that list because it's a transient neighborhood. There's people that come and go all the time, and so nobody's been here for the last 3 elections. If someone missed a primary, say they missed the 2022 primary, but they voted in the primary and general for 18 and 20, and then the general for 22, they would not be listed there. So if you feel like it restricts you too much, then come back and run this again, but don't check that box. Otherwise, it gives you people that are targeted. The reason that's important is because if there are people who are Republican and are targeted, and that shows up having voted in the last essentially 6 times to vote, primary and general in 18, 20, and 22, these are people that at least have a level of concern and understand they should be getting out to vote. So those would be targeted to join your organization or reach out to and get them involved in campaigns or reaching out for candidates. So that's why that's in there. We may do some upgrades to it if I can get another field from the state database. Street level. While the precinct strategy is a good concept, the problem is that you cannot do this to the street level. Actually, I'm going to run the report without that and show you how many people are in my precinct that are Republicans, and I'll go ahead and do Independents as well, so you can see the numbers that we have to deal with. So once you have that, you simply click Create Report. Okay, so at the top here it says Precinct 1008, and it adds the other 2 zeros in there. Neighborhood list version 1.4 for Reno, and it'll put the city if you're in Fallon or Dayton or Carson City or Vegas or North Vegas or Henderson, whatever it is, that will show here. Then in this case, in my district, it's Washoe County School District Trustee, District D, Elizabeth Beth Smith, and Commissioner District 1, Alexis Hill. Now, you guys can stop booing. Just kidding. And I have a little bit of indication here at the top of some things we have. We have a lot of information in this. That's why it's so valuable. So, red names indicate inactive status. So you can see here's Doreen, and she's in red. And so as we come through here, you'll see other people in red. All right, so those will show you the people who are in red. And the interesting thing is that you should not, and I've not done a report on it, but if they're in red, they should not have voted in the General 22 election, I don't think, but there may be some who did, and that could be an issue. We could go search out why they voted in an election that they were essentially inactive. So you can see there's a lot of information here. So let me get back here to the top. Yeah, so back here to the top. So you'll see the address, and here's 2020 Alamo Square Way. It also has their phone number if you choose to, if you'd like to reach out and call them. We have the party affiliation, Republican, other, non-stands for nonpartisan, other. There's probably in here Libertarian, LIB, IND, Independent Party, GRE, Green Party, that type of thing. So you can see the first three letters of the party affiliation. I calculate the age as of the last election. So on 11/4/22, that's what this age indicates. And so there are three breakdowns for the age. One is under 40. These numbers will be green. Here's 39, here's 40, here's 19, 49, 40. All the ones above 40 and less than 65 are in black, and then anything over 65 is red. And so there's a significant reason, right? We want to get more people involved that are younger, and so it gives you a chance to see that qualification. Target, if we had target, if they had voted here somewhere, it's yes. So you'll see they voted in all three of the last elections, both the primary and the general. So these are people that are very active. You'll see a lot of them that are going to be red because they're the ones that are most active. On occasion, you'll see someone that's in their 40s and 50s. Rarely do you see someone in their 30s, although this guy was pretty close. He may have just moved here, or she may have just moved here, and so she did mail-in ballots in 20 and 22. All right, so that gives you a lot of breakdowns. You've got a lot of information you can work with here. Here's one that did. PP stands for polling place, which means that they used a machine. EV is early voting. MB is mail-in ballot. So you have three designations. PP, polling place, which means they use a machine on election day. EV means they used a machine during early voting. And MB stands for mail-in ballot. Now they could have turned in a mail-in ballot in early voting and it still would have come up early voting, even though it was in fact a mail-in ballot that they turned in and dropped off at a polling place. Okay. So when you go to talk to someone, you can put in information. So we have this, you'll see this under address is unverified. There are three options: unverified, bad, and good. So if you're out and you go to a house and you find out that they do not live there, then you can set this as bad, and you can enter into the notes that you find out that they moved in 2019, okay? And then you can put in the date that you visited them. I'm going to put down today's date, and you can do something easy. You can do 7 dot, in this case 6. You don't need to put in the year, and so the system will actually transmit that into a full date. when you click out of that field. So you see 07/06/2023. If you don't put in a year, it will assume 2023. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Then you can simply click update. You know what, I'm going to need to move this up so you'll be able to see, hopefully you'll see the update. So I click update. This may take a few seconds. And there we have it. Update successful. You click the OK button. And now that's in the database. So when I refresh this with an F5, continue, that data is now in the database. So you're going to show what's in the database. So that's a way to update this stuff, and you can give us notes. We'll be able to generate reports on this later so that we can actually go get affidavits and turn these into the Registrar of Voters. And whether they take them out or not that's another question. But in the meantime, we have that data, and you can be able to update record by record. You can do this on your phone. I don't recommend it. I recommend you print this out and then make notes on a page that you carry with you as you're out canvassing and talking to people. Okay, so this is the entire district, or not district, entire precinct. At the bottom, you will see a number of rows here that have a bunch of information in them. 40 and under is green, 41 to 64 is black, 65 and over is red. So here's the total number of people that are under 40. 463 in this precinct. 449 are in between 41 and 64, and there's 325 that are over 65 and over. So in the yes, the 65 and over is in red, that are what's called targeted, and 112 are over 65. So the red is under, and the black number is over. So then we have the total number of people who voted out of Republican, in this case, in independents. 743 in the general election, and then in primary there's 401. 838 in the general in 2020. 368 in the primary. 651 in the general, and then 265 in the primary of 18. Okay. Here's the percentages. Early voting by machine, 33%. Early election day by machine, 22%. Mail-in ballot, mail or dropped off, 44%. And I'll have to check to make sure that they did mark it as MB, even if you dropped it off at a drop box during early voting or election day. So I will try to confirm that. Here you see some totals. It says active/total Republican count, 511. Out of a total of 602, that means that the difference between 602 and 511 is are people who are inactive. Nonpartisan count, 413 and 503. Didn't do the Democrat count because that wasn't included in this. Other count, 118, is someone other than nonpartisan. And so all total, 1,042. The percentage of active voting out of the 743 is 71.31% of Republican and independents who voted in the 2022 general election. So again, there's a lot of information here. If you need something else, let me know. I'll be glad to look into it and see if I can get that implemented so we have even more to work from. But anyway, you now have the ability to update a record, good, bad, unverified, some information about it, the date you did that, or date you visited them, or you mailed them a card, or whatever it is, and then you update. So nice and clean, nice and quick. You could do this in the field. I don't know that I would recommend it, because this has got a lot of information you're going to look at on a pretty small phone, and I would recommend just getting that information and coming back when you're back to your main computer and putting that information in. So that's the entire precinct. Here's the problem with these kinds of numbers. If you're a precinct captain, or you're the only person in your precinct trying to do this, you have 924 people to try to reach out to. For one person, that is a lot of work. So we want to break this down to the street level. So let's go back do street level. So what this will do is it will go through and it'll generate a report with every single street in your precinct. So here's the list. Alamo Square, it doesn't have all of the full nomenclature. Some of them are truncated. Here's Maplewood, would probably Drive, but you get the idea. So, and the reason I did that was because there's so many extra pieces of information in this that shouldn't be there. They do apartments and everything else in this, and an apartment actually has its own apartment number or field in it, and they don't do that. So in my case, I'm going to go to here's Hillcrest. I live on Hillcrest, so here's Hillcrest Drive. I simply click this button. It will pop up saying, please be patient as this operation can take 20 to 30 seconds. This is several variables to get your precise data. Now I've broken each, this was written when I had all of the data for the entire state in one database. I've now broken this out so each county has their own database, so this is much quicker than it used to be. So I keep trying to work on getting this streamlined so that it is efficient. And just that quick, we now have the update for this, but every address here is just Hillcrest. Okay, so again we have all of the information. 17 people under 40, 13 40 to 65, and 9 people over 65. So I've got a pretty young community here in Hillcrest. Nobody was targeted. There was no one who met the criteria of the last 3 elections, voting in both primary and general. It does give you a breakdown of mail-in, election day, early voting, and mail-in. So here's all the people who voted in the primary. 22, 28 is the general, and then 6 voted in the primary on this street. So again, it gives you targeted information. You can reach out to them. I have where I'm at here. Here's my name, and so I validated the information. So here is good. Moved from Thomasville, Georgia. I did that at 6/4/2023, and I needed an update. So there are some other people who live in my complex here, and so I know that they're active. So anyway, that gives you the street level, and again gives you plenty of information that you can target, and names and everywhere. You can verify if, like here's three names that are at somebody who lives all at 600 Hillcrest. And so you can, when you go there, you can verify that all 3 of these people still live there and make the notes and appropriate entries. So that's the new neighborhoods update with the ability to update each individual record with information. And this notes page, or this notes field, you can do up to 255 characters. It will lock you out once you hit that, but you know, to do 255 characters is like writing a book. Making notes, you should have plenty of room and shouldn't be stopped out. So anyway, thanks for coming by, and I hope this helps. Let others know that this is available. We want to use this to be able to get people involved in our organizations. So appreciate it. If you have any questions, reach out to us through the WashOPatriots.com website, through our Contact Us page. So thank you again.